Good morning. Welcome to Smart Means Business. I'm Andrew Barigi. It's exactly 1 minute past the hour of 7 a.m. and today is the 23rd of August. It's a new business day and of course new decisions to be implemented to ensure that you don't make the previous day's mistakes. And of course at this very hour we start with the news recap where we take you through the previous day's news stories, getting to understand how the previous business day was, and you make decisions for the coming business day, which is today. Today is the new day. And of course, we are going to start with a recycling of plastic materials. And according to the report, every day Uganda generates about 600 metric tons of plastic, and currently most of this is banned, and in the process it releases that's lethal carcinogens and toxins and carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. To curb the environmental dilemma, most people have been coming up with the different ways to find ways of transforming that's the poisonous substances that are being released by the plastic waste to ensure that they are recycled efficiently. Let's have the details of this report.
In Uganda, PET bottles have a low recycling value. As a result, discarded PET bottles are usually either burned or thrown across streets and fields as litter. To make matters worse, PET is very difficult to process. Recycling creates jobs for people who collect recyclables and work in places where they convert waste into new materials. This is a good way to protect the environment and economy, as Stefan explained.
We have come up with innovative ways of reusing plastics, where I and you sometimes people think of, I've taken my soda, I've taken my water and it is over, so I just throw it away. But it can as well become somebody's source of income. A person who is going to collect all the littered plastic out there has finally got something to do, because they bring them out of the environment and the environment is benefiting in one way. But two, we have skilled people to make items out of it. Where now you see, for instance, here we have flower vessels, which are very innovative and unique. You find what we call the kitchen gardens. Today things have gone, difficult, where we no longer have those, big chunks of land that we used to have. I'm in a town setting, I have my small rental where I have some small space and I don't need to buy vegetables. All I need is to play around with the same plastics, the same waste that has been possibly thrown somewhere or I've already reused, and I only need to play around with it and make a garden. And I have a constant flow of vegetable to supplement my diet on a daily basis.
Sebia Labeka says they recycle the containers once in a while, but in case of burning, they throw the used containers in a gazetted area.
Talking about the buckets that contain our paint, after using the paint, we urge the general public to always recycle them in places that are gazetted for either burning or complete destroyer, because our plastics are not that good for the soil where we really cultivate our food. So we always urge the general public to recycle them in gazetted places and clear them completely.
Stefan adds that their main objective is to help people, especially those with no jobs, venture into the recycling business where costs are affordable.
What we generate as waste can actually be wealth. Number two, we are looking at it as things become waste simply because they are not sorted. Immediately, all what we refer to as waste is sorted, it becomes a source of livelihood, because at home if I sort my plastics, or somebody will come and say I need the plastics. If you sort the organic waste, somebody will say I need to compost and it becomes manure. A trash can goes for 20,000 shillings, Ugandan shillings, which is made out of reused bottles. Then we have a flower vessel. If it is empty, it is 20,000. When with a plant or a flower in it, it translates to 50,000 Ugandan shillings.
That's recycling of plastic. And according to the report, about 100 metric tons of plastic are generated on a daily basis, according to the people that recycle these plastics, to ensure that they make good use of these plastics to reduce on the pollution that they carry. And what's still on that report, we get to realize that some plastics are still littered, that are never directed into the landfills, and majority of them end up landing into water bodies, which affect, that's the marine life which is in there, and that's affecting the fishing industry in Uganda. So that's very important. The recyclement idea, very, very, very important to reduce on that collection that ends up being put into the water bodies. And in Kampala city alone, it is estimated about 51% of the garbage is left that's uncollected. That's according to the recent statistics. And a possible reason behind the frequent clogging of sewage systems, that could be the reason, because few, like 51%, that's quite a big percentage. It would have been a 50-50, but it's a 51, so it implies that 49% of the garbage is that is collected, and only 51% is not collected. So that's the statistics. The weighing scale doesn't balance quite very well, and that is very responsible for the pollution. And with that, such waste therefore is untapped resource, that can be put to use, benefiting that's both the economy and the environment at large. So it's the economy and the environment at large at the same time. And now let's cross over onto the inflation of eggs. And according to the report, egg prices have increased by 47% in August compared to what the cost was. That's a year ago. The price of nearly every grocery item has ballooned over the past year, driven by the factors. That's the high production costs, the rising fuel prices, and also the supply chain hiccups. Let's have the details of this report.
The dealers have attributed the soaring prices to different forces involved in the chain of production.
Feeds are too expensive, maize is also scarce, that's why eggs are expensive. Eggs production is also low and the birds are little. Egg prices are still going up depending on what's happening. We have eggs, but they are too expensive to the extent that we buy a tray at 10,500 shillings and we have to sell it at 12,000 in order to get a profit. I can't tell why the eggs are expensive. The prices are high, but also the demand is high. The prices of chicken feeds have kept increasing due to the unfavorable weather conditions, for instance, the prolonged droughts.
Environment is very changed. Now we don't have seasons of rain. Today you can expect rain and you can find what? Sunshine. It is very too much. So we have that drought.
Feeds are too expensive depending on how things are.
The prices are expected to go higher because the rainy season has just started, which means the farmers are still preparing their tools for gardening.
That's the inflation of the eggs that has risen by 47% in the month of August, the month we are in, as compared to a year ago. And of course, when we look at that, it comes back to the consumer price, the egg consumption index, let me say that, regarding the eggs. And of course, according to my report, just to give you a light here, egg consumption that's per capita reached that's 0.840 kilograms in 2019 in Uganda, according to the statistics. This is 2.33% less than the previous year. Of course, historically, getting back to how the egg consumption index has been going, historically, egg consumption per capita in Uganda reached a whole-time high that was 1.10 kilograms. That was in 2011, and all-time low being 0.500 kilograms. That was back in 2005. So you can see just in a space of 6 years, let me say that, 5 years, that was 2005 to 2011, where we had the all-time high and the all-time low of the egg consumption. And of course, looking at that, Uganda has also been ranked 144th within the group of 161 countries in terms of interest rate on egg consumption That's per capita. And of course, now we need to understand the sources of these eggs, that majority of the chicken that are reared in Uganda actually are local breeds. And of course, the state of poultry production, while heightening the challenges of opportunities, are discussed in the review, the article, and of course, regarding the poultry sector in Uganda that has more than, that's 47 million chickens, and about 88% are local chickens. So majority of the chickens that are being kept are local chickens, and these are known for their social, culture, and economic roles. And two rural communities in Uganda are thus improving that's the livelihood of the different Ugandans that are dealing into this livestock. And you find that a majority of the exotic breeds grow so fast, and when it comes to also the egg production, they produce the eggs at the massive production, unlike the local chickens that are healthy, of course, in consumption, but also there is also the aspect of being much more careful by the products that they release out. And the economy we live in, everything is running so fast, and there is need for the massive production that's of goods and services. So that's for the eggs. The inflation of eggs is hitting 47% in the month of August. And now let's cross over to the green economy. That's President Yoweri Museveni has said that to ensure prosperity, Africa must develop the spirit of Pan-Africanism. Museveni notes that some Ugandans have started engaging in commercial agriculture, which has led to excess production, which can't be maximized by the local markets. Let's have the details.
Madiokolo is part of the hard-to-reach areas in West Nile, now benefiting from the modern markets and resource centers, easing the burden of locals and refugee communities. While participating in the Ground event for business infrastructure facilities in Madiokolo district funded by the World Bank, Grace Kiwichunyi, the state minister in charge of northern Uganda, urged the locals to embrace parish development model to fight poverty in the region.
That people are exposing to us, for me this is good. My office is coming back with Nusa 4 fighting poverty. Because when the government has done this is infrastructure. It may not get you out of poverty, but the parish development model is designed to get us out of poverty. Nusa 4 is also designed to get us out of poverty, because it is going to give you resources. It is going to strengthen you in your farming, in your business, in whatever you are doing, so that you get more income.
The parish development model is meant to boost economic growth as well. According While delivering a lecture on the opportunity to cadet officers of the 2019 to 2022 intake at Kabamba Military Academy, President Museveni noted that to ensure prosperity, Africa must become one market under the spirit of Pan-Africanism. His Excellency General Museveni noted that some Ugandans have started engaging in commercial agriculture, which has led to excess production that cannot be consumed by the local market alone.
Now we have got excess milk, we have got excess sugar, excess maize, excess cement, excess soap, excess mitayimbwa, the factories have come up, excess tires. Even patriotism is no longer enough. So we added the second principle, Pan-Africanism. Banange, Muliwano, Musovedwa, you don't know what to do, but there is East Africa. Why don't you go and reach understanding with Kenya, with Tanzania, with Rwanda, with Burundi, with South Sudan, with Congo, and we become, we put together our markets so that they become one market.
According to the UN's Food and Agriculture Organization, Uganda's fertile agricultural land has the potential to feed over 200 million people. In the financial year 2021 to 2022, agriculture accounted for about 24.1% of the GDP and 33% of the export earnings. Therefore, President Museveni emphasized the need for irrigation, which can only work if people stop encroaching on the wetlands.
Now get only one season because the climate has, the rain is not reliable. So we are going to shift from rain-fed agriculture to irrigated agriculture. And in order to do that, we need the swamps with water, so that we shall have this business of saying there is war in Ukraine and Africans are dying from hunger is a big shame. As if there are no human beings here who have arms to create. So we are not going to be part of this. We are going to irrigate and produce all the year round. There will be so much production that we will have to get big external markets.
During the Green Economy East African launch, the Minister for Energy and Mineral Development, Ruth Nankabira, said that the cabinet has resolved to evict those on the wetlands.
Recently, there was a big debate in cabinet, and the president directed that all those who are in wetlands this time round, this is the time that God chose that we implement our laws. Because we are not supposed to be in wetlands. We have demarcated places. You are lucky that I've told you if I have told you anybody else.
At the end of the day, when the government releases the funding or the opportunities, the Ugandan out there must know what opportunities are available in the green economy, what the green economy is. So it's very important that it's both ways. The private sector and the government sector need to work together collaboratively to enable us to achieve such sustainable development.
The green growth transition will deliver, according to the National Planning Authority, an additional 4 million jobs in agriculture, waste management and recycling, among others.
That's the green economy for you right there, as President Yoweri Museveni urges the people to take in the spirit, urges the Ugandans to take on the spirit of African nationalism, that's Pan-Africanism, to ensure that they excessively execute the economic activities that are responsible for the development of this country. And of course, I say agriculture, a majority of the farmers are engaging into commercial agriculture, which is resulting to the excess production, which production can't be consumed by the local market. It's too small, and that's why it's very important for the East African region for the integration, and that's why there are these deliberate moves to ensure that Uganda is opened up to new markets, to ensure that most of this production is put out there. And also among the concerns here was the people that encroach on the wetlands, and of course putting up development projects which are hindering the progression of agriculture, let me say that. And of course this comes about when Yoweri Museveni is still on the report that some months back he said that those that are settling on the wetlands should vacate immediately, or else they will be prosecuted. And of course Uganda still relies on agriculture as its backbone. And so all policies that are deliberate to ensure that efficiency of agriculture are very important to be taken seriously, but Pan-Africanism being a very, very, very key concept on that. And of course, we wind up the recap with economic development, and now we are going to the regions of West Nile, that's the northern part of Uganda, as the state minister in charge of northern Uganda, that's Grace Kuyuchwini, has urged locals, that's from Madikolo, to take up opportunities from the parish development model. And she was participating in a groundbreaking event for the business infrastructure facilities in Madikolo, that's districts that are funded by the World Bank. Let's have the details.
Madiokolo is part of the hard-to-reach areas in West Nile, now benefiting from the modern markets and resource centers, easing the burden of locals and refugee communities. While participating in the ground event for business infrastructure facilities in Madiokolo district funded by the World Bank, Grace Kiwichunyi, the state minister in charge of northern Uganda, urged the locals to embrace parish development model to fight poverty in the region.
Sets that people are exposing to us, for me this is good. My office is coming back with NUSA 4 fighting poverty. Because when the government has done this is infrastructure. It may not get you out of poverty, but the parish development model is designed to get us out of poverty. NUSA 4 is also designed to get us out of poverty because it is going to give you resources. It is going to strengthen you in your farming, in your business, in whatever you are doing, so that you get more income.
The parish development model is meant to boost economic growth as well. According to the data from the Uganda Bureau of Statistics, the size of the economy in financial year 2020 to 2021 in real terms, the economy registered a growth rate of 3.3%, which signals a steady economic recovery from the 3.0% in financial year 2019 to 2020. The state minister in charge of the northern Uganda with other leaders spoke during the groundbreaking of various projects in Madiokolo district funded by the World Bank through the Uganda support to municipal infrastructure development.
It's about not being patriotic, but it was a national procurement. Out of all the contractors, we have 8. I think we have quite a few of them who qualified to be from the region. But that does not stop any other Ugandan from getting the projects. Now that they have got the projects, from my visits, I made it known to them that the benefits of these projects should go to the local community.
That way, let's all be winners. You win, I win, government wins, everybody wins, and the people of Madi win. Then they can give you more contracts. Yes, and more is coming. This time we're going to assess it depending on the quality of work you have done. Very seriously. Not these people they call procurement officer who lock themselves. Then they are this one is qualified. No. This time we shall say how has he qualified. This was sometimes they qualified. I'm not saying it is you. Sometimes they qualify because of 10%.
Contractors undertaking the various civil works, despite the noted delays in the progress of the construction, are being cautioned against corrupting local government officials and shadow works. There is a need to ensure increased economic activities in agricultural production and value addition if the new infrastructure is to be impactful. Among the districts benefiting from the financing for infrastructures such as markets, resource centers, and other related youth facilities include Terego, Yumbe, Ajimani, Obongi, Moyo, and many more other districts.
That's the minister in charge of northern Uganda, urging people to take up opportunities from the parish development model. And thanks for joining us on the recap. And if you just joined us, just to give you a highlight, we discussed something from the rising, that's the inflation on eggs that rose to 47% in the month of August. And of course, we had something from recycling of waste to ensure that there is limited pollution, which affects the environment, most especially the water bodies, affecting the marine life that is in there. And also, we discussed something on President Yoweri Museveni urging Ugandans to embrace the spirit of Pan-Africanism to ensure economic growth and development. And we winded up the whole session with the minister in charge of the West Nile, in Uganda, urging the people to take up the opportunities in the parish development model. Joram Paul Sonko, of course, is right here and ready to take you through Smart Means Business. I've been Anju Barije. I'll be joining you on SMB on ground. Stick around. Good morning.